Breaking news. Russia has just made a move that could change the balance of global security, again. After decades of careful arms control, Russia has abandoned the last major agreement limiting its short and medium-range nuclear missiles. Are we witnessing the birth of a new Cold War? Let's break down what's really happening and why it matters for everyone, everywhere. First, let's clear up the confusion. The treaty Russia just ditched isn't the New START treaty, which is still technically alive, though barely. Instead, it's the moratorium on the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, or INF Treaty for short. This was a big deal. Signed back in 1987 by Reagan and Gorbachev, the INF Treaty eliminated an entire class of nuclear missiles, those that could strike targets between 500 and 5,500 kilometers away. By 1991, thousands of these weapons were gone, reducing the risk of a sudden, devastating nuclear strike on Europe or Asia. For years, both the US and Russia stuck to this moratorium, even after the US officially withdrew back in 2019, blaming Moscow for not playing by the rules. Russia said, "Fine, we won't deploy these missiles either, as long as America doesn't." But after this week, Moscow says all bets are off. They're no longer bound by any restrictions on these weapons. So why now? Russian officials claim the US and NATO have been moving missile systems closer to Russia's borders and ignoring Moscow's security concerns. With tensions sky-high over Ukraine and fierce rhetoric coming from both sides, this could be Russia's way of flexing its muscle, showing it won't be boxed in. But some experts say this is much bigger than just Ukraine. It's about leverage. It's about sending a message to Washington and its allies. Russia is ready to escalate if it feels threatened. And here's where things get really serious. Without the INF Treaty in place, there's now nothing legally stopping either side from building up these once-banned missiles again. That means more warheads, more launchers, more subs lurking in the sea, less trust and zero inspections. Remember, last week even saw the US redeploy nuclear submarines in response to Russian threats. The old Cold War playbook is back on the table. Meanwhile, the last big treaty standing, the New START treaty, is barely hanging on. Russia suspended its participation last year but says it's still sticking to the numbers for now. The clock is ticking. New START expires in February 2026. And right now, there's no sign that anyone's working on a replacement. Experts warn, without these treaties, the world becomes more unpredictable and a lot more dangerous. Lawmakers in the US are scrambling to revive arms control talks, but as it stands, there are no legal limits on US or Russian nuclear forces if a new agreement isn't reached soon. That would roll back decades of progress to reduce the risk of nuclear war. So, are we entering a new Cold War? Some say it's already started, digitally, economically, and now, militarily. We could be seeing the opening moves of a new arms race, with countries like China, India, and Pakistan watching and calculating their own next steps. What can actually be done? Diplomats around the world are calling for dialogue, urging both sides to get back to the table. But for now, the silence is louder than any negotiation. What do you think? Are we heading for another Cold War? Could nuclear weapons become an even bigger threat in our lifetimes? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more global updates right here. This is Worldwide News 20.